Hello and welcome to Game Boy Advance Classics. In this installment, the game is Iridion 3D, released as yet another launch title for the Game Boy Advance in 2001, developed by German game developer Shinen. Iridion 3D is an auto-scrolling shooter with your typical shooter plot. Aliens have invaded, so man sends a single fighter to destroy the entire invasion fleet single-handedly. This isn't something I hold against the game, as games have been doing this kind of thing as far back as Vulgus in 1942 in arcades in the early 80s. It might be silly, but it's typical of this type of game. In both magazine screenshots and early internet video trailers, Iridion 3D was without question the most impressive game on the Game Boy Advance. While other launch titles demonstrated the Game Boy Advance's capabilities to render graphics similar to the 2D games of the Super Nintendo, Iridion promised 3D visuals right there in the title. In truth, Iridion 3D is not a 3D game at all. The Game Boy Advance hardware wasn't even capable of rendering true 3D visuals to begin with. Instead, Iridion 3D employs a smooth, looping video file that scales in relation to the player's ship location and uses standard scaling and rotating sprite effects to give the illusion of 3D. Trickery, yes, but effective trickery. In addition to the drop-dead gorgeous visuals, Iridion 3D also has hands down the most amazing soundtrack on the Game Boy Advance until Golden Sun arrived several months later. Composed by Manfred Linzner, the music of Iridion 3D is unusually excellent, and is debatably the best aspect of the entire game. All of the chiptunes are memorable, catchy, and even manage to sound good despite the limited pitch and sound capabilities of the Game Boy Advance's sound chip. Seriously, this is a soundtrack that is worthy having on whatever music player that you carry around with you. Gameplay-wise, Iridion 3D plays similar to the Super Nintendo Star Fox, but much more limited. The controls are incredibly primitive for a game of this genre, really only requiring the D-pad and the A button, and the start button just to pause the game. That's it. The other buttons don't do anything at all. You can't speed up or slow down, you can't fire any secondary weapons such as a bomb, and you can only have one type of weapon at a time. Because the gameplay is so basic, Iridion 3D quickly becomes repetitive, lacking the thrill of 2D-based shooters such as those from Compile or Konami. This isn't enough to make the game bad, but it is a missed opportunity. It's a shame the gameplay wasn't made to match the richness of the visuals and audio. I know I've already talked a good deal about the visuals, but they really, truly are impressive. Iridion 3D is one of those games that will wow you the first time you see it, and continue to do so the further you get into the game. Around the turn of the millennium, I was really into portable gaming and was a huge fan of both the Game Boy Color and the Neo Geo Pocket Color. To say I was excited about the launch of the Game Boy Advance would be a bit of an understatement. This was the most monumental release of anything ever been released up to that point. Reading video game magazines at the time, such as Pocket Gamer, there were 2 GBA launch titles that I really wanted and had to get at the launch of the system. Those games were F-Zero Maximum Velocity, as well as this one here, Iridion 3D. While F-Zero was reasonably priced at about $40, Iridion 3D was certainly not reasonably priced. Few stores even carried it, and the ones that did wanted $67 for it. As a young teenager with only a small allowance, I have clear memories working hard to earn enough money to be able to afford this damn game. After I finally got it, after spending so much money on it, and after discovering how incredibly shallow and short it was, I was pretty heartbroken. I feel like I had been cheated, duped into buying an expensive gemstone that turned out to be an ordinary rock. For years, Iridion 3D would remain that one GBA game in my library that would piss me off every time that I saw it. Upon reflections now, I realize the price I was forced to pay wasn't Shinnen's fault, and I would have been disappointed by the shallowness of the game no matter what price I paid. And ultimately, I'm still glad I picked up Iridion 3D at launch. This game gave me a glimpse into the future of what handheld gaming could possibly look like. All things considered, it wasn't too long after the launch of the GBA that the DS and the PSP arrived, and compared to the true 3D visuals that they could offer, Iridion 3D ultimately was pretty primitive. Nowadays, Iridion 3D can be found on the cheap, and I fully encourage you guys to pick up yourself a copy. Iridion 3D was never $70 good, but now, as a $5 game, it's totally worth picking up at your local game store. And goddamn, isn't this soundtrack amazing or what? Well, anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about Iridion 3D, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. And what was an expensive game that you bought that turned out to be not so great? Well, until next time guys, thanks for watching and take care.